So we're going to work our way inside. The number one thing in real estate, period, is what does the kitchen look like? So this is where you start in the two most expensive places in the home is in the kitchen or the bathroom. Now, you can change all the cabinets and you can spend quite a bit of money. Or you can try to do different paints. There's a lot of different examples of that outside, like with Pinterest and Instagram and things like that, on how to make the original, very inexpensive cabinets that are there look better, even if they're a little bit worn. Otherwise, you're probably looking at replacing the cabinets a little at a time. Now, there's been a lot of people that go to the trouble of installing marble on top. You're probably gonna have to change the cabinets if you do that. Not guaranteeing it, but probably. It'd be a really nice, and I don't think that will reflect in the sale of the mobile home. It will, but I don't think it'll ever show up monetarily. It might mean the difference between sell or not sell, maybe. So when you walk in, the kitchen is generally fairly roomy. So you would look for really nice, clean countertops, which you can buy and install. When it comes to corners, you have pre-made corners that have plenty of instructions on how to do it. And the ends are you can use an iron to put the ends on those on that Formica cabinets. That makes a big difference if it's worn. A deeper sink will make a difference. Most of the mobile home sinks are very shallow, and a deeper sink will make a large difference. Maybe a disposal. Those are all things that improve your life and also the resale value of that home. So what we're headed toward is what kind of flooring will you have in that kitchen area, and what kind of ceiling paint and wall paint that you would have. The ceilings generally are white, although I've had customers that wanted the walls and the ceilings the same color. That's not always, but by no means. But generally, you can do backsplash ceramic. And there's a lot of different patterns that you can buy in 12 by 12 patterns that one locks into the other and has real nice ends. That makes a huge difference as far as the backsplash. Usually your electrical, if you've got loose outlets and things like that in the kitchen, it's very, very obvious. You want to fix those things. Dress it up, make it look nice, put good paint on it, and if you don't feel confident with your choices, use somebody else's colors or designs, because you can do stencils where you paint in between or over the pattern, and that leaves an imprint on what is already there. So if you have a yellow and you put a white stencil with rabbits jumping or something. I did a whole house out of Southwestern with stencils. So you can get rid of the batten strips that are on some homes. The newer ones not so much, because they're leaning them more and more toward drywall. But you can get away from the batten strips and finish it, even if it's paneling, and then paint it. You can actually put texture, drywall texture, on the paneling. I think I've got videos on that also. So those are all things that you want to do in the kitchen. And if the bottom of the sink has damaged the bottom of the cabinets, you want to start looking at fixing that also, because that is the number one place that determines what the woman feels about the house. And generally, it's the woman that picks the house. Even if you're on a budget, she's not going to want one that makes her feel bad. Now, she might settle for one that makes her feel bad, but she's not going to want it. So let's make it easier to sell. Let's make it where that woman will be happy when she's, well, it's nice and clean, has a good look to it. I would change the colors, but yeah, it looks good. That's what you're looking for. And generally, houses sell better with furniture in them. Maybe not all the knickknacks. I know people that sold brand new mobile homes. They rented furniture and had them deliver it in, and they paid monthly for that furniture to be there. It was better than cardboard televisions and things like that. Didn't even have electricity on all these, but they rented the furniture, and they said it was because those models sold houses and people could get their own custom made, so that model never had to move. It was just the furniture rental was an expense. So mind you, if even if you moved out, you might consider leaving some furniture there to make the sale possible, and you can move it out if they don't want it, or you could include it in your sale. So when it comes into the living room, you again have to decide what kind of flooring you're going to have. Will it flow into the kitchen seamlessly, or do you want it to have a distinctive mark, different colors, different flooring, uh, maybe even different built-in shelving instead of cabinets? Although quite often people don't really care for built-in shelving. They want to be able to put their sectional there or their own cabinets in there. So, but again, think about getting rid of all of the batten strips, do some finishing, spray some texture, do some paint, try to make it as much like a house as you can. Dress it up. I know some people have had issues with paint on the walls where people used to smoke, and that nicotine can bleed through the paint. So you're going to end up using stain blockers to block that nicotine from coming out, block it in. So spend some money on the paint. Don't get out of hand at medium quality paint price, and pay attention to the detail. Fix any broken outlets, because that is an eye. It draws the eye to it. Around the doorway, you want a place where people can kick their shoes off. So you're not going to want that to be carpet. You're going to want that to be some kind of floor covering that's like linoleum or tile that can stand up to water, and people see that distinctively as a place to kick their shoes off, or put their shoes on it before they go outside.
Kilts, primer works well.
Kills, primer, Zinsser, pretty much all the stain blockers work about the same. They're really good. Zinsser, now keep in mind when you're using stain blockers, if it's flammable, make sure you don't have a pilot light in your stove or your heater or your central heat running, because that pilot light can ignite the air. Now that's also your water heater that could be gas also. So make sure you don't have a pilot light somewhere that could ignite that gas that's floating in the air until it's gone. Mind you that if you have central air, it's recirculating it throughout the house. So you want to be careful that when I know of 2 houses that I've had to work on where the houses themselves they were spraying lacquer on new cabinets or lacquer on trim inside the house because it was bad weather, and the central air or the stove, both of those had different scenarios, but they lit up the air and it burnt the house kind of black, about waist high up, and it burnt the people that were there. So mind you, be careful with that. Now when you're doing stains on the ceiling, there is a Kills Upshot, comes in a can. It works really, really well to block stains in the ceiling. That means mildew or anything else. Again, it's flammable, so be careful. Mind you, there are stain blockers that are not flammable. Just pay attention to which one you get if your scenario has that flame in it. So again, your entry door usually has to have some sort of dramatic feel to it. And I don't want to say over the top dramatic, but maybe some nice trim around it. a nice looking door. Don't have to be a $1,500 door with side lights. So then you got your hallway. Most of the time,
LVP flooring, and I bought a Magnum brand.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a good. Well, you're looking for nice, clean flooring that has a good, decent look. It does not have to be terrible expensive, and you can with the peel and stick and use glue, and then when the glue just gets set, you can put that peel and stick on there. It won't move, and they make some really nice looking stuff. But make sure it's tasteful when it comes to flooring. I'm kind of skipping over the lights. In your living room, a lot of lights are they don't lend themselves to the mobile homes looks. So you would want to find something that gets away from the blah blah ceiling fan and very inexpensive ceiling fan.
I'm researching the glue down LVP now.
Yeah, and when you do the glue, quite often you'll be able to see through it when it's ready to put down. It'll be when you touch your fingers to it, your fingers will stick to it. That's how sticky you want it. You don't want it the glue to come off on your hands, but you want it to, anything gets on it, it's hard to get it off. That's what you're looking for. And you can reactivate it by putting more glue on it quite often, not always. So if it gets stiff on you and it's not doing what it's supposed to do, you're putting more glue. And quite often the glue on a peel and stick will reactivate again. But you want to get nice looking lights. And you really shouldn't have to spend a lot of money for ceiling lights or ceiling fans. So LED is very inexpensive right now. I would imagine that a tasteful looking LED light would lend itself toward a more modern look when they go inside and they feel at home with it. When it comes into the master bedroom, again, you have a different style. Eliminate the batten strips if you can. We already talked about the good window dressings. Interior, you can spend a little bit of money and not a lot, and not just have bleak looking blinds. You can have curtains like in the living room, even on the kitchen window, or shelving that goes around that window. They make that also, or you can make it yourself.
Whenever you're ready.
So, when you go through the living room, it doesn't have to change as far as flooring or ceiling. It can be the same all the way through. But if you want it to, it can, as long as you think it's tasteful. So when you get into the bathroom, you're wanting nice, clean look. If the cabinet's in deteriorated condition, if the shower is deteriorated condition, or the tub, it needs to be replaced. And it's going to cost a little bit of money, but it's worth the while, because that could mean the difference between selling and not selling. A lot of people now are getting away from bathtubs and going to showers, but I don't know that everybody feels that way. Closet, what does it have in it? Just the original shelving, or does you go and put some closet made to make it look nice and clean? So, light fixtures, window dressings, nice flooring, nice paint, get rid of batten strips, dress up your windows, and that's a really nice presentation, just doing those things. And it really is not going to break the bank if you do it a little at a time, particularly.
Duracell 8 says the 54-inch tubs suck.
Yes. In order to change those 54-inch tubs, which I have many times done, quite often you have to move a wall. In order to do that, that could make an indentation in the bedroom next to it, where you have to go in and then out. What I have done before is change, instead of the tub running against the outside wall, change it where it's heading toward the doorway, and put it on the toilet side, move the toilet over to the other side, make it where I could have a 60-inch tub and take out, and that means redoing the bathroom quite a bit, but it makes a huge difference. The factory tubs are shallow, they're made of plastic, and if somebody weighs over 300 pounds, it won't hold up. It will break. So whenever you replace it, even if you replace the 54-inch tubs, you might want to, well, you should go to the fiberglass replacement. That will hold up to whatever weight, and it will survive even if the water gets underneath the tub. Whereas if a plastic tub gets water on the floor and the floor starts giving out, that plastic tub will collapse and break. So.
Okay.